Hello and welcome back all of you modeling hopefuls out there. For this tutorial, it's actually going to be about jiggle bones, and just so you all know, this was actually requested by a user in one of my videos by the name of Zenio. I hope I pronounced that right, and if I didn't, sorry about that. But one thing I would actually like to say before we even get started is that this is going to be a rather interesting tutorial in the sense that it's actually not going to be a tutorial and more of a speaking commentary than anything else. You may be asking yourself, why is that? Well, I'm hoping that as you watch this video, you'll probably soon understand why I decided to do this more as a commentary than I did, as a straight-up tutorial. Now, before we begin, this one is actually thrown out for all those users out there who maybe use Blender or maybe Maya. I'd like to state that the techniques I'm going to be talking about can actually be done in any 3D program of your choice. So, Zenio, if you're more comfortable with Blender instead of 3ds Max, if that's something you've been using a lot and you know how to navigate it just well, if you're considered a quote-unquote intermediate user of it, then I suggest not switching. In fact, anything I'm going to be telling you, it can be used for that, and this also goes for people in Maya as well. So, you don't need to switch your program if you're more comfortable with that program than anything else. So now that I actually got that over with, what exactly is a jiggle bone? Well, this is actually kind of interesting. As you can see in the background, I'm actually making a basic tubular prop, and I'm just going to be adding a few bones onto it. So that's basically, in a sense, what a jiggle bone is. A jiggle bone isn't made in the 3D program. That's actually something that's handled by Source when you actually compile it into your QC. What you're really doing in the 3D program is you are creating the bone to which you are going to be converting into a jiggle bone in Source. That's what a jiggle bone is. That may be surprising for all of you people out there. That's actually what it is. I know it took me a really long time to figure out what a jiggle bone was as well, and that's as simple as I can put it for you guys. It's just a bone that you added to your model, which then you're telling Source to turn that into a jiggle bone. So, on the screen there, you're actually going to be seeing something I'm doing, which is known as paint weighting. Now, paint weighting, this is the main reason why I'm doing it as a talking commentary instead of a tutorial, because paint weighting is a very complex thing and something I want to package into the rigging tutorial, because I'm going to be going into how to do proper paint weighting and things like that, and this is something you generally need to know to get a really good jiggle bone. So, if you already know how to do paint weightings and stuff like that, and you just only want to know how to make a jiggle bone, well then, that's why I'm posting this video, because boom, just like that, you already know. You know how to paint weights, all you're just going to be doing is tossing on a bone, and, you're just done, like that. So, what else is there really to know about a jiggle bone? Well, other than, if you're doing it on a pre-existing model, you're gonna actually have to know, how to do paint weights, because if you add it onto the skin of the model, then it's just going to go completely crazy. It's going to throw all the weighting off, and that's where you're going to need to know how to basically paint weights on your skin, basically. And for all those people who are new out there and don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about paint weights are basically what the bone is affecting on the skin of the model. When you move the finger bone on a Team Fortress 2 model, someone actually had to paint how much that finger was affecting on that entire hand. And that's what rigging is in general. You make a skeleton, and then, onto the skin, or the mesh, and then you have to sit there and, very meticulous, put weights for each bone to what they're affecting on that mesh. It's a time-consuming thing, and it's going to be a really long tutorial, because I'm going to try to put everything rigging in general in that, so everyone can understand. So yeah, fast forwarding a little bit in this video here, I'm actually going to be going and showing you the QC file that I'm making, and funny enough, I'm actually just pulling these jiggle bone codes straight from the source files from the VN Pony models and adding that straight into my files, just like as is, and I'm changing only the names from, the bones that they were assigned to the bones that I made for my model, which were just Jiggle 1 and Jiggle 2. Now, just a little thing out there, all those little numbers you see there, those are things you should really play with. I'm not going to be going into every little tiny thing that they do, because even for me right now, I don't know what they do. But a good thing about, animation modeling, or really anything is just to play with things. Just play with things, compile things again. It doesn't really matter as long as you're having fun doing it. So, actually, if you play with things right enough, you can actually get them to do some pretty interesting things. Just so you know, a good example is Bearded Doom Guy's his Twilight model where she had the floppy horn. That was actually done editing those, variables there. He probably has the code somewhere around, But anyways, basically you just play with things, and then if you get them enough, you can get some pretty interesting effects. So, just play with things and junk like that. So, speeding up the video a little bit more, as you can see, I already got it in Source Filmmaker there. I'm moving it around, and you can see it's kind of stiff, but that's because I'm using the direct jiggle bones from the files, and I even try to go back and edit them a little bit more, but they don't necessarily come out that well because I wasn't playing with them enough. And if I spent maybe a few more hours, I could probably get a really good jiggle, going on there. Yeah, I think I went on for a little bit too long for this video. It's already at 8 minutes, and I really hope that this commentary did a really good way of explaining these jiggle bones, and I will be trying to get on that rigging tutorial as soon as possible because I know people are really asking for that. That's a really advanced thing too. Rigging is something that everyone wants to know about. So I will try to do my best on getting on that, but before that rigging one, I'm probably going to do some smaller ones like the assigning of materials and things like that, or multiple materials on a single model, stuff like that. So, yeah, so anyways, thank you guys for even giving me any of your time and listening to my insane ramblings. Basically every view, it's amazing. All comments, amazing. So, I really appreciate it, and I'm still new to making these tutorials. I know I've made some in the past, but, I'm really trying to learn and get really good at these tutorials, so if you have any comments on that, critiques maybe, then feel free to post down below. Anyways, once again, I think I went on for too long. Thank you guys for watching my video. Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and share this to anyone who's interested in these types of things. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial.